Good evening, Rambler fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Rebecca Baer.
And I'm Gabe Perez. So Rebecca, I hear you're graduating in a few weeks. I'm interested in what you're going to do upon graduation.
To be honest, I'm a little interested as well. I guess I'll use all my hard-earned skills and become
Whoa. Keep those stories to yourself. How about we hear what you know about our Rambler sports teams?
Whoa, Gabe. Rude. The women's softball team beat Drake University 13-3 last Saturday in a game that only lasted 5 innings due to the 10-run rule. Drake got out to an early 1-run lead in the top of the first, however, that didn't last long. The Ramblers broke things open in the 3rd inning when they scored 9 runs as 14 women came to the plate. During the inning, senior Olivia Bell hit her first career grand slam to put them up 8-1 to that point. But the Ramblers kept on scoring. By the time the inning came to an end, the score was 12-1. Drake added 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th, but the damage had already been done. With the win, Loyola improved to 12-16 overall and 3-3 in the MVC. Lauren Moore is in her final season with the Ramblers. Jane Budnick caught up with her and Moore teammates at practice to discuss Moore's accomplishments and what they have to look forward to this season.
Loyola softball starts their first season in the Missouri Valley Conference with a 12-16 record. Head coach Missy Besseret said that they knew the transition from the Horizon League to the Missouri Valley Conference was going to be a challenge because there is a stronger competition in the Valley. Senior third baseman Lauren Moore said that although at first they were intimidated, the team now knows they are really capable of doing big things in the Valley. She adds that it also is a nice advantage that other teams don't know anything about them and that there isn't really anything expected of them. The past 3 years have provided constant growth for Moore, not only in skill, but in her leadership as well. Sophomore teammate Bree Pasquale said that Moore demonstrates leadership on and off the field and that she's just one of those teammates you can always talk to about anything. Coach Besseret added that Moore has grown into more of a vocal leader now that she is a senior. Her performance offensively speaks a lot for what she does for the team, and she inspires others to be like her. She leads with the passion she has for the game. Although when Moore was 7, she wanted to quit softball, her parents made her stick with it. She said that the passion for the game is what continues to drive her. And clearly that passion and drive has paid off. Moore smashed Loyola's all-time RBI record of 93. Moore topped that number early this March at the beginning of her final season with the Ramblers, holding an astonishing 109 all-time RBIs. When asked what this means to Moore, she replied, "Hard work really does pay off. Knowing that they came out in the end makes her happy and excited for the rest of the season." That's not the only record Moore holds in the Ramblers record book. She also holds the record for most home runs in a single season. She hit 13 last year and doesn't plan to stop being a slugger anytime soon. Moore believes she has grown tremendously as a player these past 3 years, and Coach Besseret agrees, saying, "She is one of those people who makes others better. She always works hard on and off the field." And with coming to the Missouri Valley Conference, Besseret notes that Moore was underestimated, but she has continued to hit a lot of big hits against big teams. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Jane Budnick.
Loyola will return to the field this weekend when they travel to Peoria, Illinois to take on Bradley University in a 3-game series.
The men's volleyball team brought home another victory this time against number 14 IPFW last Saturday. Sweeping the Mastodons, the Ramblers secured a spot as a top seed in the next month's MIVA championship. During the 3rd set, kills from Olsen and Jeski helped Loyola gain an early lead. Although IPFW came back and grabbed a 6-5 lead, a couple of big-time kills from Caldwell, Smalzer, and Jeski led the Ramblers to a 20-17 final set win. Caldwell had the 2nd consecutive double-double with 10 kills and 12 digs. The Ramblers will host Lindenwood on Thursday night, first service scheduled for 7 p.m.
Speaking of volleyball, Loyola named Kevin Moore as the women's volleyball assistant coach on Tuesday, and that was no April Fool's joke. Moore was the head men's volleyball coach for the past 3 years at Juniata College in Huntington, Pennsylvania. While there, he posted 86-37 record and was named the Continental Volleyball Conference Coach of the Year last season. Along with experience, Moore brings with him a positive work ethic and reputation for being a great recruiter, which gives a promising future for the team.
We are joined now by our lovely Lauren Smith. What are you here to talk about today?
A little-known figure in baseball history that sent some of the big best back to the dugout.
And who would that be?
Well, that's what I'm trying to explain. On April 2nd, 1931, National Baseball League legends Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig were struck out by one of the most underrated professional baseball players in history. This player was a female southpaw pitcher by the name of Vernette Jackie Mitchell. Although she was not the first woman to play in the minor leagues, Mitchell's presence on the pitcher's mound during an exhibition game in which the Chattanooga Lookouts went up against the New York Yankees was certainly a sight to see. After moving to Chattanooga from Memphis, Tennessee, Mitchell joined a baseball school with an affiliation to the Lookouts. Joe Eagles, the team's owner, noticed Mitchell's mean curveball and signed the 17-year-old just weeks before the Lookouts were to play the Yankees. Mitchell's first pitch in professional baseball was to none other than Babe Ruth. But Ruth struck out, and so did the next batter, Lou Gehrig. After walking her third batter, Mitchell was pulled from the game, leaving the Yankees to win 14-4. It was not long after the game that controversy sparked, accusing both Ruth and Gehrig of striking out intentionally as a publicity stunt. Mitchell denied all rumors, saying that the batter's only instructions were to avoid hitting her in the head. Mitchell's contract with the Lookouts was later terminated without a verifiable explanation. However, rumors circulated that baseball commissioner Kennesaw Landis thought that baseball seemed a little bit too strenuous for women. Despite this debate, Mitchell proved that baseball was in dire need of a makeover. I'm Lauren Smith, and that's it for this week's in history. All she needed was a league of her own.
What? Are you crying? There's no tears in baseball.
And on that note, despite terrible weather this past weekend, Loyola track and field team won 4 events at the Lenny Lyles Clark Wood Invitational in Louisville, Kentucky. Michael Wetzel took first place in the 400 meter with a beautiful time of 21:97. Speaking of the 400, the men's 4x4 relay also brought in a first place finish. Michael Wetzel, Chris Lehman, Jake Mazanke, and Kevin Glasstetter ran the relay with a time of 3 minutes, 18 seconds, and 49. Man, that's cruising. Competing for the first time this season in the steeplechase were Ali Spiroff, who took third place with a time of 11:29. Ella Tracy, who finished 5th with a time of 11:44. Hannah Magnusson, who took 6th with a time of 11:46. And Hannah Lies, who finished 7th with a time of 12:19. The Ramblers track and field team is set to compete this weekend in Gainesville, Florida for the Florida Relays. Hopefully warmer weather will shine upon them there. The snow has finally thawed, and now we can see those diamonds in the fields. Diamonds?
We mean baseball diamonds. Take a look at some of the buzz going on around campus for the upcoming baseball season.
It's easy to root for a team that has won a World Series this millennium. Cubs have not done so since 1908. A couple of things about 1908. 1908 is when the oldest building on Loyola's campus was built, Dunbar Hall. When a time when the Ottoman Empire was still a thing. 1908 was over 100 years ago. Think of all the things that have happened since 1908. The NBA was formed, the NHL was formed, the NFL was formed, and the Cubs still have not won a World Series. It's a no-brainer for me.
I was born and raised a Cubs fan, so Cubs all the way.
What I'm looking forward to, since I'll be here when the season starts, is going to a Cubs game, Wrigley Field.
I was born and raised in Chicago. I'm a big fan of the Chicago Cubs.
The one thing I am looking forward to this year that I keep in my back pocket that I've been telling people for years now is that, the future's on the way. Prospects are coming. And this summer we're gonna start seeing a couple of them. We're gonna see Javi Baez. He's gonna come up. Hopefully Chris Bryant comes up. We might see Alcantara at second base. We might see some young arms come up through the system. So I'm always holding out hope that some of these young guys are gonna catch on, because I've been telling people for years now that 2016 is the year. So 2016 is still what I'm holding out for. And as a Cubs fan, I'm just trying to see, maybe a glimpse of what the future's like.
Whether you're you're a Sox fan or a Cubs fan, don't strike out during this upcoming baseball season. Swinging a different type of club, the women's golf team wrapped up their final day at the Saluki Invitational this past weekend at the Hickory Ridge Golf Club in Carbondale, Illinois. Senior Carly Schneider was the top-scoring Rambler, ending the day with an 81, finishing tied for 26th place. The team finished in 9th place overall. Loyola returns to action next weekend when they compete at the Bradley Spring Invitational in Peoria, Illinois.
With all this baseball talk today, we'd be wrong to leave out collegiate baseball. So without further ado, here's Nick Amatangelo with this week's MVC Top 3.
Thanks, guys. So we know Loyola doesn't have a baseball team, but that doesn't mean there isn't great baseball played in the Valley every year. Right now, there's only 8 teams that play in Valley baseball: Wichita State, Illinois State, Indiana State, Evansville, Missouri State, Southern Illinois, Bradley, and Dallas Baptist. Now, an honorable mention has to go to Dallas Baptist. They are currently the #1 team in the conference with a 21-7 record. However, they don't crack this list since this is their first year in the Valley, and they really aren't full members. They only play baseball in the Valley. That being said, here are my MVC top 3 baseball teams. Number 3, Southern Illinois University. The Salukis are historically one of the best baseball teams in the Valley. They've made the College World Series 5 times, but haven't done so since 1977. They were runners-up twice in '68 and '71 in the College World Series. Notable alumni include 1983 World Series champion Jim Dwyer, 5-time Golden Glove winner and 2001 World Series champion Steve Finley, and 7-time All-Star Dave Stieb. Recently, the Salukis have been confined to the middle of the conference. They currently have a 15-12 record. Number 2, Illinois State University. Where SIU has history, Illinois State's always on the cusp of making some history. They do have 1984 World Series champion Dave Bergman and All-Stars Dan Cobb and Buzz Capper going for them. Over the last 4 years, the Redbirds have finished in the top half of the conference, including winning the regular season title last year. They currently have an 18-8 record, second most wins in the conference so far. This is a team on the rise and will look to make an impact in years to come. And your MVC baseball team is, no surprise, the Wichita State Shockers. Shockers are the only member of the Valley with a College World Series title. They won it all in 1989 and have been to the tournament 7 times. The league's tournament champs last year took 2 of 3 from nationally ranked California State Fullerton last weekend. Wichita State is one of only 2 schools to have a winning record in the MVC Conference Tournament, having won the title 18 times. Notable Shocker alumni include 5-time All-Star Joe Carter, 2-time World Series champions Doug Mirabelli and Braden Looper, and Chicago White Sox current third baseman Connor Gillespie. They're the team to beat in baseball like in so many other sports. And that will do it for this week's MVC Top 3. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Nick! Most sports include a ball, but a group of Loyola athletes found a new way to play using just their feet. The girls of the Loyola Irish Dancing Club found their lucky charms and will be performing at the end of the month at the Dance Showcase. But just what lies at the end of the rainbow?
Deep within CFSU, within the depths of the Rambler Room, lies the biggest crowd you've ever seen. Well, I'm here anyway. The Loyola Irish Dance Club is one of the most unique dance groups on campus. The club was started in the fall of 2011, and since then they've grown to more than 10 members and perform at events around campus and in the community. Junior and club founder Sarah Gayhard said because the club is still new, they have more goals they hope to accomplish.
Trying to get our foot in the door with some performance opportunities and coming together as a group to really make a cohesive club and have set dances and set performances and things like that, while training competitively and also spreading the performance aspect of Irish dance into the Loyola community.
The club members are all at different levels, but that doesn't stop them from working together. Sophomore and Irish Dance Club President Haley Costell is representing America at the World Irish Dancing Championships on Easter. She says that Irish dancing is different from other styles of dance and is one of the reasons she got involved with it.
And it allows you to be both aggressive and graceful at the same time, and it never gets boring. You're always trying to learn something new, and so it never seems like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again.
Costell practices her 3 routines for 2 hours every day. She says having the club to practice with makes the experience even more enjoyable.
I don't really have the discipline to do it by myself, so with other girls there to push me it helps a lot, and we also get to have a little bit of fun with it.
Castell and 9 other girls performed at Relay for Life last weekend. It was their first performance for the Loyola community this semester, and the crowd went wild. But who got the most wild? Obviously 2 of our own. That's right, it's Grace Runkle and Allison Krakowiak, dancing, Irish style. With a little Irish luck, we'll be seeing them dancing around campus more often. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Megan Carabelli.
The World Irish Dancing Championship is hosted in London, England on Easter Day.
The men's volleyball team continues to dominate Sports Locker just like they do in the NCAA. Look out for them as well as the Chicago Bulls on the Weekly Ramble.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Weekly Ramble.
Yes!
Woo-hoo, yeah! I'm Milat Mehta, standing at the Brendan Bond Memorial Podium, made out of mahogany. And I am with Bridget Murphy, also known as B. Murph, and Nader Issa, also known as N. Issa, or at least he will be from now on. And we are going to get ahead with our questions. We've got some really awesome topics we're covering. Now, we all saw that Ball State game last week, which was absolutely amazing. Huge comeback.
Don't call it a comeback.
And so, in light of that game, Bridget, what's your favorite game?
Well, I enjoyed myself at all of the men's volleyball games, but my favorite game was the Penn State game because they really got the crowd involved with the 90s theme, and also there was some really, really great volleyball to watch. The first game Penn State took by just a couple points, but the Ramblers came back and won all of them by like 5 or something. But it was a really, really great game. Thomas Jeske had 19 kills. Cody Caldwell had 18 kills. It's a really powerful offensive game, and it was really fun to be there with the crowd. And everyone was getting into it. It was just a really great atmosphere. Also, I don't think I have good enough blood pressure to handle more games like Ball State.
Very true, very true. Well, that was a great game. Nader, you got a better one?
Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit cliche. I'm going to pick the Ball State game. There were a lot of great games last week. Loyola only lost 4 sets total on the entire homestand, and all of them were great because who doesn't love seeing Owen McAndrews scream after every big point?
Gets it over.
But the Ramblers started off to a really rough start. They lost their first 2 sets, but they did come back and win. The score was tied 28 times during the game, which is a lot, including 8 in the final set. So it was really, really close game at the end. Even more impressive, Thomas Jeske didn't play, which is a big win without one of their biggest stars.
No, definitely. And well, I mean, I'm sorry, Bridget, you didn't get my memo. When I said Ball State was my favorite game, come on, that's got to be the point right there. Ball State.
Didn't you see the pictures? 90s night.
Well,
never forget the 90s.
Comeback victory. That was crazy. I've never seen a game like that. And so my decision stands. And now we're going to go on. Thank you.
Oh, hey.
We're going to go on to the next one. We're going to go on to the next one. And so, one of my other favorite teams, the Chicago Bulls, has been really turning around. They started out 9-16, but now they've crept their way back up to the standings. They're a phenomenal 43-32, and obviously they're going to win their first round like last year. Come on, they're the Bulls. They kick butt. However, their second round opponent could be the Heat or the Pacers. So, Nader, which one would you rather see?
I'd rather see the Pacers in the first round. I think the Bulls match up better with them, with their size. The Heat like to get up and down the floor a lot. The Pacers have a lot of big men. The Pacers are only 28-18 since January 1st, which would put them somewhere around the middle of the pack in the East, and it's a very weak East. So that tells you a lot about how they've been doing recently. They've they've only won 4 of their last 10 games, so they're on a pretty cold streak going into the playoffs. The Heat, on the other hand, are pretty hot right now. They're not at their best, but they are heating up a little bit. No pun intended. They always have LeBron James, which I'm not a huge fan, but he's the best player in the league. You win championships with superstars, so they have the upper hand there.
Well, tell that to the Detroit Pistons. Go for it.
Okay, well, I would like to see the Pacers play the Bulls for 3 reasons. First reason, because LeBron James stands for everything I hate about NBA basketball. High salaries, people who chase rings, people who flop. Please, just watch it. There's one more coming for you. It's just why? Why? Even the commentators over this clip are saying, this is why. This is what's wrong with the NBA today. LeBron James is what is wrong with the NBA today. I do not want to see him playing any more basketball this season.
Preach.
For the second reason, I don't want to see the Heat there because I respect Bulls fans and I don't want this to happen to them. That's a Heat fan. He is beating the crap out of a Pacers fan. I don't want that to happen to my beloved Chicagoans. And for the third reason, I like to see a basketball team that likes to have fun, you know, off the court. And look at them. They're having so much fun. They're dancing, a little dance off. This was a fundraiser for children they held. So, you know, I like those guys. I want to see the Pacers do well.
Okay, well, this is a little tough here. You both have the same answer. I did enjoy the Heat fun a lot. However, watching LeBron flop never gets old. And the fight, come on, that's a win right there. We're not supposed to talk about Fight Club, but we can talk about that. So,
Raise awareness.
all right.
Heat fans are mean.
Very true, very true. Well, now you two have made a pretty tough decision for me. So we have to go to a tiebreaker. This week's trivia is going to be about baseball. Now, last year's NL MVP should have been Mr. Paul Goldschmidt. For some reason, baseball writers just have no idea how to vote. Now, since the best offensive statistic to use is OPS, what was Paul Goldschmidt's OPS last year, which led the NL?
I'm not a huge baseball fan, so I'm going to have to take a random guess. I'm going to say 400, if that's anywhere near.
It's a number.
All right.
I don't know what an OPS is, so I'm going to go with 4. What? I'm sorry. What's an OPS?
I don't think her answer qualifies.
OPS stands for on-base percentage plus slugging. If someone had a 4 OPS, let's just say they would not even be close to an MVP, nor 400.
So what you're saying I'm wrong. Is
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying.
It was 952, which technically Nader was almost, if you like.
If you double my answer, it's close.
We'll just give it to you by a technicality. Now, I don't know if either one of them really deserved it with that one, so you guys can go into Facebook and vote to see which one you liked better, and back to you guys at the desk.
Indiana or Miami? Does it really matter when we all agree that the Heat, except the beautiful D. Wade, suck? Well,
that wraps it up for this week. Make sure to visit our website at ramblersportslocker.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Rebecca Baer.
and I'm the Gabe Perez. Thanks for stopping by the locker, and don't forget to turn out the lights. I wonder if the Irish dancers get like foot cramps.